Hello. Okay, good. Hey there. Good morning. It is Wednesday, March 5th. I am Rob, that developer dad, and we're building applications and components and stuff like that. This week so far has been a bit of a diversion for me, and from the usual content that I produce, in that instead of working with C# and .NET, I am working with just plain vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build out a fun little component that I'm going to use to create bitmap pixel art style graphics for another project that I'm working on the side beyond the DM's familiar. And I'm primarily using AI to do most of, or a lot of the actual frontline coding work. And I'm taking more of a supervisor, architect, QA, product manager role in producing this. Without too much yapping, I'll share my screen. And here it is. Here's what it looks like. Right now I've got the black paint well selected, and I can draw on the canvas. And as I release the mouse button, my change is showing up in the preview. This is a live pixel by pixel preview of what the resulting image is going to look like. I can change my selected color. And, I'm just kind of scribbling here. And let's start with a trunk, because we can't have art without a happy little tree. And we'll just put that happy little tree up in the corner there. And there we go. So let's change the name on this thing. I'm just going to call it Scribble 1. And I added this export PNG functionality this morning, like maybe about a half an hour ago. So I don't even know if it works yet. And let's hit export. Is it doing anything? I don't think it did anything, because I've not wired anything up. I don't think I have it fully connected anyway. Let's see if the console is showing any. Oh, I've got an error here. Image operation, undefined is not an object, preview canvas, get image data. Okay, that's fine. So it's obviously logging some things. Publishing event, image operation. Okay. And it's complaining that there is no function called get image data on my preview canvas, which feels a little weird because I remember adding it. Here's get image data. But what's it looking for? Preview canvas VM.get image data. Here it is. All right, that's peculiar. And that's happening at eventbus.47. Let's see here, callback data, and so on. Let's take a look at our Pixel Editor class. Initialize footer, initialize editor. This is subscribe to image operations. Metadata changed name, that's update name. Here we go, callback image data. Okay, and this is the issue right here. Preview canvas VM.get image data. Let's ask Copilot what's going on here. When I click on the export PNG button in the image manager view, I'm getting an error in the event handler. Type error, undefined, is not an object. Evaluating this dot preview canvas VM dot get image data. Now, let's take a look up here. And I believe it is in, here's initialize event handlers. Here's my constructor. I bet the problem is down in the render. The problem here is that Pixel Editor, which owns the event handler, doesn't have a direct reference to the preview canvas VM. That's going to need to be accessed through the image editor VM. Let's get that pass-through function in place now. The image editor view model now. Yeah, that's our problem. So Copilot forgot that there's a slightly more complex component tree going on in our UI, and that the component that it's trying to get access to is not directly accessible from our root level component, which is defined in index.js and is of type Pixel Editor. So Pixel Editor owns a couple of branches. It has, if we look down in the render method, a palette editor view model, an image editor view model, and an image manager view model. And then those view models actually govern how the individual part components are rendered out to the screen and how they behave and how they communicate with each other via the event bus object that we created yesterday, passing in this dot events. So the image editor has a color picker, a working canvas view model, and a preview canvas view model. And those are off the image editor branch of our component tree. So in order to access things, hey, what's up, Frightful? In order to access things on the twigs that come off of the image editor view, we actually need to call into, we have to follow the hierarchy of the component tree. All right, and here's the method that Copilot came up with, get preview image data. I'm going to rename that probably, but what it does is this allows components outside of the image editor to actually get the data for the image that we're working on from that image editor view model. So let's go ahead and add that, and then I'll update the name of that method in a minute. So let's hit accept, and we'll update the Pixel Editor's event handler code. to use the new method. Excuse me. Accept. And let's save all changes. And unfortunately, we lost our happy little tree, so I'll just draw another one. I'll just scribble it on here. We got a nice little trunk. And I'll grab this, and we'll just do one of these. Back and forth and back and forth. Now we'll add some side-to-side stuff. And then we'll go the other direction as well. Bob Ross would be so proud. Okay, we have ourselves a happy little tree. He's a little lopsided. Let's do that. Great. Okay. Now, I'm just going to change the name on this thing to Scribble Tree and export it as a PNG. And we still have an error in event handler for image operation. Undefined is not an object. It's trying to evaluate paletthelper.getPixelData. And that's a little weird. So preview canvas model. Let's take a look. It shouldn't be trying to get the pixel data again. But let's see what's up. And it's complaining about the issue in preview canvas view model. Let's take a look at our open. Here's our preview canvas view model. And it says line 41. Const color equals paletthelper.getPixelData. Okay, that's render. Why is it calling render? That's a little odd. I want to take a look at the code that's changed here. So here's get image data. Render. And here's get image data. So that's a little weird. That hasn't changed in a while. I want to take a look at the image editor view model. Preview canvas vm.getImageData. We've got that. Image editor view model, preview canvas VM, so on and so forth. Palette helper. We are passing the palette helper in, aren't we? That'd be a little weird if we're not. Just calculate scale factors. All right, back to Copilot. Palette VM, image editor view model. Okay. Let's take a look and make sure over in the pixel editor, image editor vm.getPreview image, good. Okay. So I'm still getting JavaScript errors when I hit the export button, but I'm a little surprised at the message. I wonder if it'll let me copy out of here. Okay, yes, it will. Good. Copy. Paste. In the preview canvas view model file. That line is in the render method. I'm surprised that we're even calling that when requesting the image data. And get image data. Excuse me. There's no invocation of the render method there. Also, render is working as expected when I draw on the working canvas. Let's see what it has to say here. Copilot's been really, really, really good at figuring out where these weird event chain and method chain errors are coming from. Document.create element canvas. Okay, I see what it's doing. Okay. Canvas.get context 2D. Create the preview canvas model. Okay. So what it's doing here in get image data is it's actually creating a new canvas, rendering to it, and then returning that canvas to the data URL. I see what's happening here. We have to create a new in get image data, create a new canvas element, repaint it, and then export from the new canvas. What if we instead pass the target canvas element into the preview model, canvas. Hey, what's up? First time chatter, my Electus 200. Instead, we pass the I'm debugging a JavaScript and Canvas error. And hold it as a field on that object. Then we can use the same canvas element for rendering and exporting. How new? Like just a new joiner of me or a new developer? Ah, very good. Been slinging code for a while, Electus? Ah, very good. Yeah, I'm a developer slash architect. I've leaned into software architecture more so than just slinging raw code over the past probably 10 years. So almost the second half of my career. But unfortunately, last May, I got laid off from a big company. And I've been having a heck of a time getting anybody to even talk to me to hire on with them. But rather than sit on my butt and play video games all day, every day, I've decided to start streaming twice a day, Monday through Friday, usually. And and I've been getting more and more into exploring different areas of tech because historically I've been like .NET, C Sharp, Visual Basic, way back when. A couple of years ago, I got bit by the Gen AI bug, and I've been doing a lot of work. Um, Preview canvas view. I've been doing a lot of work integrating Gen AI into .NET and other software workflows. And probably a couple of months ago, I said, you know what, I can afford $10 a month for GitHub Copilot Pro. And over the past, I'd say, month or so, I've been leaning more and more and more into using GitHub more heavily in my workloads or in my day-to-day workflow. When I'm working in .NET, I'll do a lot more manual typing in of code. Right now, I'm doing JavaScript, and I am not a JavaScript expert. Hang on a sec. I need to tell Claude something. We don't need a discrete preview canvas view. We're instantiating the preview canvas view model in the, not the image manager view model, but, what's it called? I believe we're instantiating it in the image editor view model. Yep. Don't need that. Don't need this. Don't need that. Don't need that right now. Here we go. In the image editor view model. Let's update that file instead of adding a new one. So I've had some use cases pop into my head that I really want to be able to leverage. So about a week and a half ago, I had all kinds of technical difficulties. So I didn't stream during those technical difficulties. I was actually waiting on support calls from Microsoft Azure. And then I had to deal with some medical stuff, and I was waiting on calls back from insurance companies and doctors. And my car needed attention that I'd been putting off. So I was just dealing with all kinds of stuff. But in between waiting for those phone calls when I wasn't streaming, I was like, I wonder if I could build a little thing in JavaScript that lets me navigate through a 3D map using 3JS and vanilla JavaScript, and that's it. And I did. I leaned heavily on Copilot, and the code base for that little experiment is admittedly is admittedly disastrously bad. And very good. I'll try to maintain my speech pace, because that's actually very good feedback for me, Electus, because I do tend to speak fairly quickly when I'm doing this stuff, and that is not a good practice for a teacher or somebody who's trying to teach. So I built that 3D thing, and I just blew up my entire JavaScript view, but that's okay. So undefined is not an object, palette.colors, palette.helper.js. This thing is just getting crazy, isn't it? Let's take a look at what's going on. So preview canvas. Okay, document.create element. It doesn't need this because, when I get this fixed, I'll show you. So I decided over the weekend, this past weekend, that I wanted to demonstrate how I work with AI or how I'm learning to work with AI to make software happen. Palette helper. I don't know why the palette helper is suddenly breaking. Image state event bus palette helper equals new palette helper. Oh, that might be part of the problem. Okay. Let's go to the definition on this. Constructor palette. Yeah, I have to pass the palette into the constructor. Easy enough. Image state dot palette. There we go. Save that. It's still blowing up. Null is not an object. Preview container dot append child. Preview container is not an object. Man, this thing is getting all confused. It's like it's forgotten itself overnight. Well, isn't Electron just a different a UI framework built on JavaScript? Electus? Yeah. So, I mean, you probably know JavaScript better than you think. I I probably fall into the same category if I'm being honest with myself. All right. Yeah, Copilot's really just goofed itself up here. So instead of document.create element, what I need to do is document.get element by ID and get the correct element name. Here's this. Copy that. Oh, I haven't worked heavily with JavaScript in a long time. It's been a ridiculously long time. And even then, most of the stuff I was doing in JavaScript was fairly trivial. Document.element ID preview canvas. Let's make sure it's getting the correct container. Control C. There's that. We don't need to append the child because we're dealing with this. So I can actually get rid of this. Obtain and configure the preview canvas. All right, it's still exploding. Null is not an object. Preview canvas.width equals image state.metadata.width. Which of those values is null? You goof. Image editor, view model, we're good. Module code, internal all, blah, 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 blah. Let's come in here and drop a breakpoint right there. And then I'm going to reload localhost, and we're here. So preview canvas is null. That's weird. That's very peculiar. So image editor, view model. Working canvas, color picker, blah, 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 blah. Subscribe to state updates, etc. Okay. We need to ensure that we've rendered our view before we start connecting these things. Image state event bus. So in the image editor view, here's render. Initialize components, bind local events. Down in render, that's all we're doing is we're adding those things. I don't think I need this canvas wrapper. Yeah, I don't. Let's 86 that. There's that. Preview canvas. I don't think we need the ID on preview canvas. Not right now. And I'm going to set this to be that. Save. Now I'm going to come up into the image editor view model. And go preview canvas. Save. Reload this. Oh, this is goofy. So, image editor view. Color picker will be initialized here. Image editor view. Let's come out to index. And we're adding this stuff. Image editor VM equals new editor, image editor view model. Okay. And then the constructor. Go to definition. Initialize components. Okay, so what's happening here is it's instantiating our image editor view model up here. And in the constructor for that, it's trying to access all of this stuff, which is not good for us. Calculate scale factors, set scale, all of that stuff. Subscribe to state updates, get preview image data, and so on. So rather than me stumbling through altering this JavaScript code, all right. These changes have caused some pretty gnarly problems. We should not be manipulating any canvases or anything like that in the constructor for the image editor view model. The canvases haven't been added to the DOM at this point in the rendering call chain. Let's take the canvas initialization code out, added in the image editor view model, out of the constructor, and place it into an initialize canvases function on that class. Then we can invoke that method from the image editor view model at a more appropriate time. And this is where non-technical users of AI coding assistants will get lost. And even though I don't consider JavaScript to be a native programming language for me, I understand how programs work enough, and I can read JavaScript well enough to understand what's going on and make suggestions about how to fix it. Now, I'm going to let the expert, which is my buddy Claude, who lives over in the right panel of Visual Studio Code over here. I'm going to let my buddy Claude manage the mechanics of the language syntaxes, remembering how all of these APIs fit together and all of that stuff. But I'm still going to have an awful lot of technical level problem solving to do that I think a non-technical user is not going to know how to even get started with this level of troubleshooting. Now, it's not to say that a non-technical user doing this stuff wouldn't learn as they go. Just in the past 48 hours, I've learned an incredible amount of JavaScript. Just an immense amount of JavaScript. All right, this is better. Now, the subscribe to state updates. Okay, that should be all fine. Let's save and see if that mostly restores. This mostly restores our view. Okay, we're still pretty busted up here. Null is not an object. Preview canvas width equals this dot view model dot preview canvas width. And that is in image editor view. So let's take a look at image editor view on line 79. Initialize components. Const working canvas, query selector. This becomes preview canvas. Save that. Okay, on palette changed. Color picker view. So we got to go to color picker view, line 21. Just open the darn file. Line 21, palette changed. Let's go to the definition on the color picker view model. Select color, get color at, subscribe to state updates. This dot on palette change, go to definition. Doesn't exist. Current color change, okay, good. Select color, get color at. We'll update the pixel editor because it's still being goofy. Accept. Save all. We're still not getting anywhere. Something bad happened during all these changes to color picker view. Let's close this stuff. Color picker view. On line 21, the color picker view is trying to register a callback for the on palette changed event, but that property does not exist on the color picker. Can I type view model? Here we go. I'd like to know when that change came in. Do we have a history panel? I guess not. By adding the on palette change callback support in the color picker view model. This was working last night. I don't know why it's being goofy. Let's come up into the color picker view model. The change it made is in the constructor. And I'm just going to copy this. Paste it here. Okay, it's still complaining that this .view model on palette changed. Undefined is not an object. So let's shrink that down. Come here, grab this, and let's figure out what object is currently undefined. The view model itself is undefined. So out here in initialize components, color picker VM is undefined. That's in the image editor view. Come down here, initialize editor. So there's a hint, and that's really hard to read for me. So let's take a look. That's definitely in the image editor view. Color picker VM. Our whole structure has gotten completely jacked up. You know what? I feel like I need to revert almost all of my changes here. Let's, yeah, I think these changes need to be reverted because Copilot's taken us down a path that is completely just bonkers. So initialize components is getting called before the view model exists. Let's take a look at index.js over here. Here's initialize editor, palette name, image editor VM dot initialize canvases. I feel like this needs to not be called from here. Let's go into the image editor view model. Let's just go straight to the file. Here's our constructor. Image state, event bus. Excuse me. Subscribe to state updates. Initialize canvases. Go to definition down here. Now, out in index.js, that is on the image editor view model, so initialize canvases. Moving this into the editor view. Copy this. Up here in initialize components, this dot view model dot initialize canvases. Still not right, but let's see where my console errors are. I'll pull this over here. Let's refresh the page. All right. And undefined is not an object. Evaluating this dot view model on palette, whatever. Okay. We can continue troubleshooting here. On palette change this dot render. And it's because the color picker view's view model property hasn't been set when it's trying to do that. What did you do to me, Copilot? All right. And that is happening on the color picker view. I'm going to refresh the browser. And I want to get a look at the call stack. So here's our color picker view. We're paused right here. View model is null. Here's initialize components. New color picker view. See, this should be going into, if I'm not mistaken, render. I could be mistaken. Initialize canvases. Okay. We do, in fact, have our view model. Okay. Set initial canvas dimensions, working canvas width. We don't know what any of those are. Oh, yes, we do. Okay, so here's all this stuff. Good. Now, where is my view model being constructed? Go update canvas dimensions. We're passing the view model in. That's coming from the here's this. image editor view model. Passing image state and the event handler. So if I go into the image editor view model constructor, right here, we're assigning image state, event bus, palette helper. We're injecting the image state palette, good. Available scales, current scale. We need to set up the image editor or the color picker view model somewhere. And I don't believe that we are. Oh, that's very weird. Take a look here. Okay, we're passing the view model in. Yeah, I think we need to set up those view models. Somewhere along the way, they fell out of our instantiation change. That's really, really weird. So I think rather than me trying to chase down what broke and what needs to change, unless of course I can view the history on this, let's take a look at the changes. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, well, will you look at that? I'm going to grab these 3 lines of code here. Copy. Where were those? Those are right underneath the palette helper. Yep. No, that's my preview canvas view model. Where's my image editor view model? Golly. Here's that. Copy. Close. Image editor view model. Here we are. Paste those in. Save. Save. Now we're still getting complaints, I'm sure. We're still getting console errors. Oh yeah, we're paused on a breakpoint. Okay, so let's just continue. This.viewModel.palette changed. We've got our view model back. Good. Let's run. Okay, we've got most of our stuff back. Hey, look at that. Whee! Okay, groovy. And now I know why we had that that surrounding div, and I'll put that back in a minute. Hooey! All right. Canvas not get context, whatever. That's freaking out. I'm getting more console errors over in the preview canvas view model, but I'll take care of those in between now and next session. All of this to get save working efficiently. Holy cow. I'll figure it out. I'll get that sorted out between now and next session. And then we'll continue with export PNG export JSON. And then once we're exporting JSON, we're going to have save and load functionality. So I'll be able to save an image in progress and then load it back in later on, or after I, refresh the screen or make a change to the code or whatever. That'll be pretty sweet. And then once I've got all of this stuff in place, I'm going to start adding some different drawing tools, starting with undo. And I think I'm going to set up the right mouse button as an eraser on the canvas. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah. So until this afternoon, I want you to take care of yourselves. And remember, I've been doing this for 25 years. JavaScript on again, off again for a week or two at a time, a few times during that 25 years. The point being, even with 25 years of slinging code under my belt, I still struggle. Everybody does. Software is complex. It's hard to keep all of the different moving pieces in your head at once. I'm really glad I've insisted that we have this fairly complicated looking folder structure, because if all of this stuff was in the same file, I'd have gone crazy a long, long time ago. You could do this in one single JavaScript file. Don't do that. It becomes incredibly hard to keep all of the pieces in your head when it's in one file and focus on one thing at a time. So we've at least restored my functionality. That's good. Beautiful. Until this afternoon, take care of yourselves and happy coding. Bye now.